Hi, this is Pragati, and for today's video, I have with me Professor Ravikesh Srivastava. He's the Pro Vice-Chancellor at IMS Unison University Dehradun, and in fact, I have also worked with him for 3 to 4 months at IMT Ghaziabad. He holds a PhD in Production Economics and has over 29 years of teaching, research, and institution building experience. He has worked with leading B schools in India, such as the Indian Institute of Management Lucknow, IMT Ghaziabad, FORE School of Management Delhi, and SPJIMR Institute of Management and Research, Mumbai. He has completed several consultancy assignments with leading companies like HPCL, GHCL, HSIL, and Maruti Suzuki. He has also worked for several World Bank funded social sector development projects as a senior economist and as a team leader. Dr. Srivastava has also widely published in leading national and international research journals and has co-authored a book titled Managerial Economics, Principles and Worldwide Application, published by the Oxford University Press in 2008. For those who are interested, I have given a link to the book in the description of this video, and in today's discussion, we'll be talking about Sir's book and his research and teaching experiences during his academic journey so far. Hi, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, sir.
It's my pleasure. Please go ahead.
So let's begin with the discussion of your book. And for the viewers, Sir has a book on managerial economics, which is titled Managerial Economics, Principles and Worldwide Application. And it was published by the Oxford University Press in 2008. When did you first realize you want to write this book?
Yeah, Pragati, good questions. I have always dreamed to do something where I can communicate, particularly the students of the economics. When I was the student of the economics and I saw some of my professor in BHU wrote a book and they spent a lot of time to develop a book. But there's an unfortunate part, they could not do such marketing and the book was lying in their almiras.
Right.
At that point of the time, I decided whenever I will write some book, definitely it should be in the market. And I have a bigger dream that if I can see my book in any of the library in my country. So that was a dream and always in my mind. And then going with the time, I was in Delhi, one of a school, FORE School of Management. And then this proposal came to me, and then I decided to go ahead. And second thing that I was very much fan with our author, Dominic Salvatore. And if you remember, so during our school days, you used to read the Dominic Salvatore Scam Outline series. Particularly, most of the students would like to go ahead, even if they are not the student of the economics, but if they are going with some civil services examination, some competitive examination. So this is Scam Outline series written by the Dominic Salvatore, which is very much in the market. And I was very much fan of Dominic Salvatore. He's a senior professor in Fordham University in US. And then the proposal came to me. So I was so excited to go ahead. So this was my initiative.
So how much time did it take for you to write this book?
Yeah, I think if you are going to work with any book, yes, definitely you need a lot of time. And not only the time, you need the peace of mind. It's not that that many things is going in your mind and then you can develop such type of thought process in your book. So book is something where you have to more or less disconnect with the outer world and then go with the deep in your thought process and then come out to give some ideas. Particularly in economics, if you see that the economics book is not all about the just theory, because if you see the theory is more or less is the common across the world, and you cannot change these theory, but how you can make more interesting these theory in the interest of the student, how you can simplify this theory so that students can easily understand, and how you can involve certain live examples And particularly in India, if these examples going in around, and definitely the student will immediately connect with these examples. So like whenever I started to write a bit, Delhi Metro was a new initiative that point of time. So I take the example, small caselet of the Delhi Metro, Mumbai taxi, like that, and immediately align with the theory. So for that, Pragati, you need a lot of time. So I still remember when I started. So my office time was up to 6, and after 6 p.m. I start to work on my book. And fortunately, I have some students in my, and they would like to work 2 to 3 hours every day. And it takes, I think, 8 to 9 months. And you will not believe every day, still I remember, um, 12 a.m. in the night, midnight, I used to leave my office. So this is the work 6 to 12 in the late night and almost 8 to 9 months. We worked hard. Students usually 1 or 2 hours, after that they leave, and then I start to work. So I am very peacefully there. There's no one in the office. I just go with my thought process, what I can do so that the book could be more interesting. And when I was the student, I usually understand the economics is the full of the theory. So my challenge, how I can reduce the theory part and add more application part. So that was I took as a challenge. I work on that direction. And then I think
So
the
where
book.
did you get the ideas for your application part? What were your resources?
Yes, where I get this idea, because when I was the students, I was really very much fed up that suppose if you start with the demand theory and only if you see that the 40-50 pages one would like to explain only about the demand theory, full with the text, full with the theory, descriptive, and few graphs. I realized that why there is a need to go to 50 to 40 to 50 pages. And if you like to take, the professors used to take classes, almost 10 to 12 classes only on the demand theory. So I decided that I can explain the same concept, same fundamentals, same theory in 5 to 6 pages with the application part. And if, because demand is something which every individual in the world apply in their daily practices. So I connect with that, because it is not that if you are going with the formal education of economics, only then you need the economic theory. Only then you need to understand the economic theory. No, every individual practicing, even the tea vendor is practicing. So these concept and application part. And the moment I start to teach in my classes, the students were very much impressed and they were enjoying. So then I decided that I should put more application rather than theory. And I can see the understanding level, whether you go with some other textbooks or whether you go with this textbook, understanding level will be, I think, if I compare, is almost at par, even I will say more than that. So this is the way that I decided to go with the application part. And second challenge was that students usually don't like to sit in the class of economics because they have a myth that it is full of theory. So when I start to teach, then a student would like to take interest and they are very much there to participate. So that is why I decided to have more and more application rather than theory. I'm not saying theory is not required, Pragati. Pragati, theory is very much required. But
Theory
how
forms the
beautiful,
base ultimately.
yes, but how beautifully you are going to align these theory with the real world examples, with the application based, and then I think the students have started to take interest, and that was I think it was my idea, which I will say that it went well.
So, sir, which was the most difficult part while writing your book, you would say?
Most difficult part was, I will say that I would like to align these type of live examples with each of the theories. And some of the theory, I was getting very difficulty to get some live cases. And like, I'll take the example, the elasticity. If you discuss elasticity, then you have some different cases. Suppose elasticity is infinite. So though there are examples, but examples which is, I think, every individual is practicing, that is not possible. So these are the some area of difficulty. It's not only in the demand chapter, other chapters also. So though I try my best to find out live examples in most of the chapters, but yes, in some of the chapters, I find some difficulty. And second, I wanted to have, that is another idea, whenever I would like to work another book, then definitely this idea I would like to take. I want that after every chapter, there has to be complete detailed projects, which has to be based on the real data, and how going with these data and analysis, a student can completely not only understand, but can do practice in some higher education or in some advanced level. So this was my idea, but because of of course, one difficulty is the time. And second, because as I told you, the way I used to write the books, I need full time.
Right.
Along with some administrative responsibility, I cannot do justice. And one is the time, where most of the times I am involved with the administrative responsibility, and any responsibility I take very sincerely. So that is a most important, that is time. And second is you need the lot of focus, along with some support system, of course, research associate or whatever. So these are the some difficulty I find, and I have still in my mind, and this project I would like to work anytime in future.
Sir, how do you think your book is different from other microeconomic textbooks?
First of all, a good question, Pragati. First of all, my book is not actually very much focused towards the microeconomics. And it is basically, I think, discussing more about the managerial economics. Now, many people still have what is the difference between the micro and managerial. Micro discuss both part, producer as well as the consumer. And managerial economics, I think 80 to 90%, they discuss towards the perspective of the producers only. So in my books, you can see, because students are usually going to join a company where most of the times they have to take a decisions at the side of the producers, though they are also consumer. So in my book, the consumer chapters is very, very limited. I will say that only 1 or 2 chapters are only the consumer part, and all toward the side of the producers. So this book is different with the other microeconomics, or you can say the managerial economics. Again, I will say that the examples was like that many students as well the individual, almost they are doing in practice, and they easily connect with these examples. So in my books, you see that almost every chapters going with the 7 to 8 are good caselets, small caselet, and it is not such a lengthy caselets where the students usually don't want to read the entire. But in my books, you'll see that the small caselets, and you would like to understand how these caselets are practicing these theory, and easily you can connect. If I'm going to learn this theory, this could be the real caselets where I can see application. So most of the books, you will not find the small caselets. Whereas in my book, every chapter 7 to 8, and these caselets are based on the real life examples. So you can understand whether it is examples, live example, or it is a caselets, or it is a application of theory. So this is the one difference I can say about my books. And second part difference is that in each chapter, you'll see that the theory parts are relatively very less in pages, whereas the application part relatively more with the number of pages. This is the second difference. Most of the books, they will have a more each chapter more pages with the theory and less pages with the application. But in this books, less pages with the theory and more pages with the application. This is the second difference. Third one I would like to say, then at the end of the chapters, there are several exercises, small questions, big questions, lengthy questions, and purely application based. So if you are clear with these concepts and if you are able to crack these questions, that means your fundamentals are very much clear. So you can also assess your understanding of the chapters by solving these small questions. So these are the, I will say, the key difference with any other books available in the market. But there are also very good book available. I'm not saying this is the only book. But yes, Oxford University Press, when I wrote in 2008, then sixth edition, then seventh edition came in the 2012. After that, I could not find some times to continue the editions. So again, I could not do justice with the time. So these two books, when 2008 it was first time published, it was the best selling book of the Oxford University Press because of the differentiation.
So, sir, coming to your teaching experience and your research experience, so I see that you have taught at universities as well as business schools. So, what difference do you feel when you teach at universities versus when you teach microeconomics at business school?
Yes, again, good questions. Business school, yes. If you are discussing about the MBA, so business school is, I think, going with the managerial economics, where most of the university, they are teaching microeconomics. This is the, again, one difference where the microeconomics, you need the knowledge of both producers theory and consumer theory. Business schools, they are only focusing towards the managerial economics. And business school, they have a limited 3 credit course. They have a limited hours of 30 hours. You have to complete the entire course. Sometime you have to run a little bit fast to cover entire courses right from the demand to the market. You cannot cover the risk management. You cannot cover the other. So this is the one constraints usually I find in business school. Whereas a university, you have enough time and you have a more number of classes. So you can discuss more in detail, more in deeper as compared to business school. Business school, basically, they would like to understand the fundamentals and concept and not more deeper. So this is the one basic difference where the university, you can discuss one chapter, even suppose discussion is started, you can continue to 2 to 3 days. Whereas the business school, no, you have to go as per the session plan and whatever the discussion, suppose the students would like to discuss more with some more examples. So even then you have to complete in that particular session. So time is the basic constraint in business school, whereas the university, you have enough time.
Do you have any suggestions, like what kind of changes universities need to bring in their curriculum of economics?
University need to bring the curriculum as per the industry need. And you know, Pragati, because of the technology, industry needs are also changing very fast. So curriculum has to based upon the what the industry is looking for. As much as you minimize this gap between the industry and the curriculum, then you'll see that the employability of the student is not going to be a big challenge. So most of the university, they are still teaching with the 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or even 10 years back, whatever the curriculum they have developed, and they are not updating or aligning the industry needs. How you can understand? Every university must have 1 to 2 persons, including alumni, in your BOS committee, Board of Studies committee. And whenever the faculty members are sitting to discuss on the curriculum part or syllabi, they must take the inputs from the industry people. And then that is the only way that you can minimize the gap between the industry and the curriculum. But unfortunately, I'm not saying the many universities not doing. Many universities now they understand this importance and they are having the member from the industry also. But still, many university is not going with this model. Second, faculty members also need to update their knowledge as well as the way of teaching, examples, cases as per the present requirement. Most of the faculty who have, I think, learned these theory, maybe suppose 10 years back, 20 years back, he still would like to go with the similar example. So it is not going to connect with the students. So faculty are also very much required to go with the some maybe faculty development program organized by the some good institution, including the IIMs, few central universities, and they can go with this what is happening nowadays. And they should also visit sometimes wherever it is possible to some few industry and interact with industry people. If you are teaching to MBA, I had an experience working with us, interacting with us, some few professor from US, and they told us that he told me that if you are not in touch with any executive working in company, I think you should not feel that you are the fit persons to teach to MBA guys. You can teach economics in MA, but MBA, which need to be more practice, and how you can update if you are interacting on a continuous basis, any industry people, whether it is a part-time program, whether it is an executive program, whether it is a MDP, whether you are doing consultancy, means your continuous touch with the industry people. Then you can only understand what the industry is looking and what you are delivering. So if you minimize this gap, and how faculty can do, if faculty supposed last 3 years, if I am not at all in touch with the any industry people, how I can update? It's not possible. So my suggestions that everyone, each faculty members, each professor, and there are many ways. Either you should have a one class in executive program, we are interacting with these industry people, one class in the part-time program, one MDP, two MDP, we are interacting, or consulting assignment with industry. So these are the way that you are getting inputs from industry, which you can incorporate in your curriculum, which you can take in your examples, and then you can make more interesting to teach the economics. So this is the difference in university, which is very much lacking. Yes, in B school, they are doing.
So, sir, how do you think that a PhD degree brings difference to teaching?
Good question. If you are going to teach in higher education, PhD basically give a certification that your knowledge is not only from the book, you are also capable to create some knowledge. So PhD means you can unfold different layers. Suppose one student asks a question, sir, why is the function of Q and L? L and K. L is a labor, K is a capital. So Q should be 100%, but apart from this L and K, there are other factors can also influence the Q. Which are those factors? So if you have not done some good research, you cannot explain, you cannot unfold. This apart from the L and K, there are technology, there are information. So if you have gone through some research-based experiences, if you have gone through more deeper to unfold these type of layers, only then confidently you can satisfy to your students. Because most of the things you cannot find from the books. Book is important, but you need to do practice. And that is why PhD degree should be must, I feel, it is my opinion, should be must if you are going to teach higher education. Maybe if you are teaching only up to the level of undergraduate, you may like to go ahead. But the moment if you are teaching in the master's levels, or even sometimes PhD students, Of course, PhD degree is required. PhD degree give us certification that you have a good piece of knowledge even in the research. And without research, the application part is completely missing. If you see the two faculty members, one is the PhD, one is the non-PhD. PhD guys may take the good application part because it's not easy. If you are saying that go to teach this subject with more of application, the guys without PhD, usually, I'm not saying that everyone, either he has worked with the some industry good number of years, then only he can justify the use of application. If neither he has gone with the industry experience nor PhD, then definitely it would be very difficult to do justice, go with the application part. So that is why I feel that the PhD degree, of course, maybe today's or tomorrow, many professors have started to teach without PhD, but one point of time they realize that they are lacking somewhere. So they have gone to complete their PhD. So this is the something which is very much required. If someone would like to be in academic for a long, definitely he needs to have PhD degree.
So, sir, what is your opinion on the current government's move to involve industry experts without a PhD degree in academia?
Yes, rightly you have spoken that in absence of PhD, you should have a long experience of industry. So practice-based, you can say the PP practice, you can take. But these type of faculty members, you can take maybe 5%, 10%, not more than that, where they are discussing more about the practice-based learning to the students. This is equally required. So it is acceptable if up to 10% you have a practice-based faculty members, that's okay, that is no problem. But this proportion should not be higher side. 5 to 10% faculty ratio, if they are from the industry experience and not necessarily to be more rigid to have PhD degree, yes, they can be considered. But more than this ratio, one should not go ahead. And maybe sometime you have started to take these industry experienced faculty member, not at the entry level, but at a level of higher professor's level or associate professor. These are the two levels where you can consider the good industry experience minimum with the 20 years, yes, can be considered as a faculty member, particularly in business school. University, I don't think they are going to consider, but maybe in later they may also consider. And we should also encourage these peoples, even if they are in the age of 45, 50. I know many of my colleagues who have joined academics at the age of 45, and then they decided to go for PhD. So PhD always will add some value, how you can go in a more granular level, how we can go with more experience-based learning with certain validation. That is the purpose of the research. I am not saying the industry persons cannot go do justice with the application part. But the moment if you want to validate these application, then definitely they have a little bit problems. So application need to be validated. Why I should take any example which is not viable? Why students should learn which is maybe economically viable or it is not in practice possible? So these type of validation is equally important, and where we can develop certain hypotheses and we test these hypotheses with a certain tools. That is the additional knowledge one can gain if he is going with the some research knowledge. That is why. But I'm not saying that the faculty institutions should be completely rigid not to hire the faculty from the industry with the practice-based learning. Yes.
Sir, I see that you have a lot of experience with consultancy projects also. You have done consultancy with ministries and also with corporates. So, which is your most cherished consultancy project so far?
Being an economist, I always, I think, enjoy doing consultancy in the development sectors, where I had worked a lot, working, interacting with these downtrodden community. Maximum, I did my consultancy in the rural areas, rural development sectors, agriculture development sectors, like that. So, whatever the knowledge you have gained over a year of times, and how you can transfer to these peoples, and if they can be empowered based on your interventions, nothing like that. So I would like to discuss one of consultancy assignment I did when I was in IIM Lucknow. That is a DASP, Diversified Agricultural Support Project. In fact, based on my learning from this project, it was a 37 districts. It was executed in 37 districts in late 90s, I will say the 98, 99. And it was a 5-year project, and also in Uttarakhand. So these are the two states where the DSP was, I think, executed by the, of course, state government, but the project came through central government from the World Bank. So this is the project, and based on my experience, I also developed certain model, basically. And this model, I can say that you can change the life of the entire farmer in our country if seriously we are going to execute this model on ground. So that is why I really enjoyed, where the farmers are going to be more empowered. If I'm saying empowered means what? It's not only the financial empowered. Empowered means they are able to take decisions, at least for their produce. If they would like to take decisions, suppose what the produce they have, where they want to sell, to whom they want to sell, at what price they want to sell, these are type of decision making. I think empowerment is very much required to the farmers level. And because you understand, they spend a lot of time to produce a crop, almost 4 to 5 months, early morning, doing hard work, etc., etc., etc. And just see the, if you calculate after having all the cost and what their benefits. Whereas I had also experienced during the same time, the some middlemen or traders would like to spend, instead of 4 months, they like to spend 4 hours only, 4 to 5 hours. And their profit is, margin is much higher than the farmers. So it really hurts me. And I really want that the farmers should have a more say on their produce rather than anyone else. And based on that, I had developed this model. And whenever time will come, I can discuss in detail this model, which actually, if someone is going to execute on ground, this can change the life of the farmers. So doing consultancy, it's not only that the one side you are contributing your knowledge to the these community, you are also learning a lot. And what are the constraints, what are the challenges, what could be the models. So based on these learning, I had developed this model. So that's why I really enjoyed this particular consulting assignment. And whatever the project, whatever the report, project report I had produced after this consultancy, I'm really proud to say that the World Bank has given the second phase without any hitch to both states, Uttarakhand as well as the Uttar Pradesh, only based on this successful report or whatever you say. So this is the great success of this particular project executions in power empowerment, as well as the, of course, my learning also. So doing consultancy, if you are supposed doing consultancy for any industry people, Maruti or anyone, so you are also interacting with these people, you understand the constraint, based on that, you align and then develop certain model, and then you also learn. So this consultancy always a good scope to learn for any faculty members, and there should be some consultancy learning for each faculty members. It is very much required. It's not only the just another way to earn the income, it is also another way to learn to your knowledge, which is actually required on ground. So that is why I understand that the consultancy is very important aspects for a faculty member for their development.
So what is the process of getting these consultancy projects if someone wants to get one of them?
Process of consultancy assignment, that one has to be very much alert. There are now number of sites are available, and now you can also, based on your knowledge, you can also apply for the international consulting assignments. And you should have a deeper knowledge. Again, I will say that of course the knowledge of research is very much required if actually you want to do for the consultancy assignment. Consultancy is what? How you can give a very good, meaningful solutions to a complex problem. That is all about the consultancy. And until you are not going more deeper to understand the problem, first you have to spend a lot of time to understand the problem and what is the root cause, from where it is started, and how it has been spread over to many stakeholders. So the moment you can reach, then you can find out some possible solution. So this is the way that, and if you are developing or writing a consultancy assignment, you should focus more on the technical part. There is a two part of the consulting assignment. One is the technical, one is the financial. So one should spend more on the technical part to develop the consultancy projects or applying for to any agencies. So technical part should be completely aligned with what is the requirements of the clients. You have to understand more deeper their requirement, their problem, and based on that, you have to develop your technical proposal. Once technical proposal, of course, the another part is very much important. Who is going to deliver this consultancy assignments? Maybe sometimes individual faculty alone, maybe sometimes he needs to develop a team of experts from the different field. Because most of the times being economics, I am discussing more of the development consultancy. So development consultancy, you need the knowledge of sociology, you need the knowledge of rural development, you need the knowledge of some IT personals. So then you have a good team, and then as a team, you can apply for such type of development project, which is usually in amount, maybe 500 crore projects, 200 crore projects. So these type of consultancy assignment are very much available almost each state government or central government, or sometimes internationally. In African country, there are so huge number of the consultancy assignment or proposals are theirs. What is the most challenge, particularly of faculty members, because you need to spend a lot of time, and it is not just like a part-time sometimes. So if the consultancy is a very small, yes, you can do as a part-time. But if you are going to handle such type of big projects, yes, it is a full-time requirement. So now you have to see how much your institution are going to allow you. So if your institution are going to allow, then you can, of course, explore such type of big projects. And in consultancy, I think sometimes there is no Sunday, there is no Saturday, there is no leave, there is no any holidays, and whatever the commitment is required, because consultancy is something, one activities is depend on many other activities. If one activity is going to held, I think the other activity is also going to hold. So that is why this the time management is very, very important in consultancy assignments. And you have to be very particular to deliver as per the time. So once you understand the value of time, yes, you should proceed for the consultancy. If you are still here and there or lacking with the commitment, then I think I will not suggest, because consultancy is something. Suppose if you are fail in your first consultancy, your second consultancy, so it's a word of mouth. No one is going to offer another consultancy. So if you consider one consultancy, if you accept one consultancy, mentally you should be ready to give your entire time to do justice with the consultancy assignments. So with a half mind, with a half just wholeheartedly, you should not proceed to consultancy assignments. So this is my suggestions 2 faculty members, 2 research scholars.
So do you have any, do you want to say something to the young research scholars and young faculty?
Yes, young research scholar and young faculty, because everyone understands that they have to do research PhD or whatever. And very frequently they decide the topic, which is, I don't think is a very good idea. So framing the problem, which I feel the most important part of the research. And if you would like to spend sufficient amount of time just to frame the problem, because you are going to do a research maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. At the end of these research, if you are not convinced that your finding is going to be benefited to this community, this group, this students, or anyone else, what is the meaning of to spending 4 to 5 years just to get the degree? No. The research should be based on the real need-based problem of any area, of any community, of any group. So my suggestions to all the young researcher, if suppose you are thinking to write a paper to publish somewhere, you have written good paper, your editor has gone through, your journals has gone through, no one else. If there is a no good takeaway from your findings, how these findings going to benefit to some community? So my suggestions, like in the US, they would like to take all the problems which is very need-based. And they would like to spend a lot of time only just to frame the problem. So deciding the objective, research questions, research objective, framing the problem, here your lot of attentions and more thought process is required. You have to understand the problem. And if your research and finding based on the same problem, definitely there will be taker. And automatically you'll see that the citation and everything is going to be higher side. So your objective should not be only limited to write a paper and publish a paper. Your objective should be to give a possible solution to certain problems, which is actually being faced by the community, consumer, or any group. So if your research is purely based on certain problem which is being practiced, definitely automatically there will be citation. And you will be as a researcher will be more satisfied that my findings has actually helped to this group. So this is the something which is very much lacking in Indian researches. And the young researchers, they have only one motive: publish, publish, and publish. So, and they are very quick to decide the objective, to frame the problem, do analyticals, using these softwares, and after the write-up, they are sending and paper are being published. But actually they should ask themselves that what is the use of these researches in real world. So that is the only area I would like to focus, particularly for the young researcher, faculty members, and PhD scholar.
Thanks for joining me, sir, in this video. And this discussion was really informative. And I hope our viewers will also really benefit from this discussion.
Thank you, Pragati, and thank you that you invited me to discuss on some of the questions which is really very close to my heart. I want to speak. So I'm sure that the audience, you're going to have some interest based on our discussion. And based on some queries, yes, I'll be more happy to come again based on the certain queries if you receive.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.